HowExpert! Top 10 Dog Sledding Tips. HowExpert publishes quick how-to guides on all topics from A to Z by everyday experts. Visit howexpert.com to learn more. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more HowExpert Top 10 videos in the future. Moving on, let's talk about the HowExpert Top 10 Dog Sledding Tips. Number 10. Safety is always top priority. When starting to build your team for dog sledding, you will want to ensure you're being as safe as possible before getting out on the trails, especially since a lot of training season and racing season overlaps with hunting season. Wear bright colors. Be sure to take some pepper spray with you. You should practice spraying pepper spray before you go out on the trail, as you want to be familiar with how it sprays before you have to use it for an emergency. And always make sure to take a phone or some way of calling for help with you. Another great idea is to contact a friend or a family member with what trail you're on, how long you expect it to take, and when to start looking for you if they haven't heard from you. You can never be too careful, especially when you're taking your team out alone. Number 9. You and your team should be in good health. It is always a good idea to take your team to the vet before starting them pulling a sled, as you want to make sure they don't have any hip, elbow, or joint issues that could deteriorate with this activity. You will also want to make sure they're old enough to hold up to the level of exercise you plan on doing with them. And you will want to make sure you're in good health as well. You might not be doing much by standing on the back of the sled, but you will want to ensure you are strong and healthy enough to stand for hours while directing the team, etc. Number 8. Breed choice helps determine what distances, etc. you will be able to do. Everyone hears sled dogs and immediately thinks of Siberian huskies. While huskies are the most common sled dog breed, there are other breeds you can consider for your team, depending on what you're wanting to do. Some people just want to do short distances, while others prefer longer distances, etc. No matter which way you go, you will want to do research into the breeds before starting them in harness. Some breeds I have seen as sled dogs include huskies, malamutes, German shepherds, Akitas, wolf dogs, hound dogs, and I've even seen golden retrievers as sled dogs. Number 7. You will want to ensure a strong bond with your dogs. As with any type of mushing activity, a strong bond with your dogs is vital because you're relying on them to listen to your commands at all times. This becomes more important as you add dogs to your team. If one dog wants to ignore a command, it is still hurtful depending on the situation, but most of the time you can correct it fairly easily. However, if you have a team of 8 to 10 dogs or more, and they all decide to chase something into the woods instead of running by it, it could be detrimental to you and them. Doing other activities together, especially during the off-season, is a great way to build your bond. So look into performance sports such as barn hunt or lure coursing, or look into running cancross or hiking together. Really, any time you spend with your dogs is helping to build the bond needed for dog sledding. Number 6. What to eat and drink when dog sledding. Nutrition and hydration are some of the most important things to ensure you have covered when doing any activity, especially when it is something that keeps you active and burning up energy. Water is the most important thing when it comes to any activity you do alone or with your dogs. Proper hydration is the number one thing you need to pay attention to, and it is important to always carry more water than you think you will need in case something happens and you are out for longer than anticipated. Also, always ensure that you and your dogs both have enough food in your system to have the energy to complete your activity. Number 5. You will want to keep track of the weather so you know what the trails are like. Weather plays a large role in dog sledding because although you can still train your dogs without snow, snow is the only way to actually get them behind a sled. You can take them out earlier in the year to start training by having them pull in front of an ATV, or they can pull you on a scooter or bike, or you could start them by running canicross as well. Though if you have a large team, it would take a while to properly exercise them. You will also not want to do much if the trails are extremely muddy or icy, as those conditions could lead to injuries as well. Number 4. Different terrain will change what you're able to do with your team. Some sled dog owners rely heavily on grassy or dirt-covered paths because those are the least impactful on the dog's joints, so they can run for longer periods of time on those. You will not want to do much with them on any kind of paved surface because running on pavement for long periods of time can hurt your dog's joints. Gravel is also not ideal for running, though it can be better than pavement. The best thing is the grassy or dirt-covered paths once they're covered in a nice layer of snow. Number 3, training your team is vital to dog sledding. As in any dog sport or mushing activity, training is always one of the most important parts, but especially so when you're working on dog sledding because you're hooked up to a team of, most likely, 4 to 6 plus dogs, and you will want to ensure they understand what each of the commands means, especially on by, as you don't want to end up being pulled by a team of dogs to chase after an animal they saw or smelled. Work small and start by having them learn the commands in easy, no distraction environments before working on taking them out on the trails. Number 2, what gear will you need to get you and your team out on the trails? There is a lot of gear associated with dog sledding. You will need a sled, harness. X-back is the most popular, but you can also get half-back harnesses if you prefer. Just no harnesses that restrict movement or pulling. Bungee lines. Bungee lines allow for easier pulling. Neck lines. These help attach the dogs on the same level together. Booties for the dog's feet if you're going to be on rough terrain. Cold weather gear for you so you don't freeze or get sick. And you will want to carry food, water, and extra equipment on your sled in case it's needed. Another great thing to have on hand if you're wanting to get into dog sledding is an ATV of some sort, so you can start training the dogs before it starts snowing. Number 1, most importantly, have fun. Fun is always the most important thing when you're spending time with your dogs. There are jobs in the northern parts of the world that still use dog sledding for deliveries and such as needed. But for the most part, you're getting into this sport to spend time with your dogs and have fun. I guarantee if you're spending time with them, they are having fun as well. So make sure to end each run on a good note and make sure they have a positive experience each time. If you liked our video, be sure to click like and subscribe for more HowExpert Top 10 videos for all topics from A to Z in the future. Also, let us know what other topics you want us to do a HowExpert Top 10 video in the future in the comments below. Thank you. Have an amazing day and take care. HowExpert publishes quick how-to guides on all topics from A to Z by everyday experts. Visit howexpert.com to learn more.